Welcome to Botanical Trails Through the Juniper Forest. I'm your host, Brian Heater. Each week, I'll have a different guest join me to explore a pair of interesting gins. We'll chat a little bit about the gin and the distilleries, throw in a bit of trivia, hopefully laugh a bit, and then we'll go off the beaten path. Although I say that this is a podcast about gin, really this is just an excuse for me to spend time with my friends. But that'll just be our secret. Okay, let's start exploring. My guest today is a returning guest from season 1, actually my very second episode, Sean Pagori. Sean, thanks for coming back.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Yeah,
Very
you bet.
excited.
Awesome. I am too, because we are trying today 2 Spanish gins, and I have not had a chance to try either of them yet. I actually picked up both on my recent trip to Wisconsin when I was looking for something else, but I stumbled upon these, and I'm looking forward to trying them. So, the first one we are trying is Norda's Gin. So why don't you give that little sipper a try? Cheers.
Norda's
Thanks for coming on.
Ginny Gin.
Let's see what you think.
Can really taste the water you put in there.
I put like 3 drops in there. It's that has an interesting flavor.
I want to say minty for me. But
Okay.
I don't know.
That's got a pretty unique flavor, I would say. I can't even really put my thumb on how I would describe it. So, Norda's Gin is the taste of Atlantic Spain. So, it's a gin from northwest Spain. It is a bit unique in that its base spirit is obtained from Albarino grapes, which are used to make, can be used, I think, to make also white wine. So this gives it a delicate aroma of white fruit and flowers. So maybe it is sort of like a little floral, I guess. It contains 11 botanicals, 6 of which come from the local region, I guess, that it's from, which is Galicia.
Local Spain.
What'd you say?
Local Spain?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so those, some of the botanicals in it include sage, bay leaf, eucalyptus, peppermint, glasswort, which I don't even know what that is, and black tea. This gin came out in 2012. So when I was doing a little bit of research, the gin's website said that you could make a gin and tonic and you could garnish it with 3 grapes. So that's what I have done for mine. But I also mentioned to you that on Ginventory, they had a recipe where you could garnish it with mint. And so that's what we did for yours, because you said you wanted to try it both ways.
I do.
So we will try the cocktail both ways. And then the tonic I used is the light tonic, the light Indian premium tonic. So it's the light yellow glass of Fever Tree. So,
And the website technically said white grapes, right?
it said white grapes, which then I discovered don't exist. They're really just like green grapes. It's grapes that go into the making of white wine. I don't think the grapes I used that I picked up at Bridge Street Market you would use to make white wine, but it's the closest I could get today.
How long did it take you to figure out we don't have white grapes?
You and I had talked about it on the way to coffee that day. By lunch, basically TJ and Medina had shamed me into not knowing what I was talking about. So,
I didn't know either.
So a couple hours.
We both learned something.
Yeah. All right. Give that a try.
Cheers. That's good. With the mint.
Okay. You want to switch real quick?
Yeah. I really like that with the mint.
Now,
Now,
give that a try.
does it make sense to cut the grape in half? Or do you think literally keeping in a fully closed grape is actually going to do anything?
When the pictures they showed, it was fully closed grapes. They were on like those little plastic like sword things, but I didn't have one of those. So that may have helped.
So you're not going to get the full flavor.
You may
It's
not.
not a punctured grape.
You're right, it's not.
I think
Yours is good with the mint.
I think mine honestly tastes better, probably because you can taste more of the mint.
Yeah, I would.
You should crush it.
I like both, but
the mint is better.
the mint makes it a little tastier.
Kind of covers a bit of that that rough
Yeah.
alcohol burn.
Yeah, if I would have had a little skewer, we could have done that. So, now you saw the bottle itself, it's a white bottle. People will be able to see this on the podcast Instagram page, but the bottle is inspired by traditional porcelain made by Sargadelos in Galicia. So, and the flavor profile is described as fresh, aromatic, floral, and slightly citrusy. I don't really get a lot of citrus out of this, but definitely the floral I get.
I get like a minty citrus, if that's a combination you can make.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, the distillery itself is Atlantic Galician Spirits. They also opened in 2012. Their original goal was to produce a 100% Galician gin. They named the gin Nordis after the Nordis trade winds that blow from the Atlantic onto the coast of Galicia. And if you noticed on the bottle when we looked at it, it had like all the continents, but if you look closer, all the little continents are made up of those little like triangles that maps will show, showing which way the wind blows.
Oh, so that actually shows where the wind blows across those continents mostly?
I don't know that they got that specific. I'm just saying
cool.
that that's what the little things are.
Okay.
So,
if you got real scientific.
but this is the first of our Spanish gins. So, the other one will also be from northern Spain, but on the other side of the country, on the eastern side.
So what made you choose Spanish gin?
I stumbled upon... Which one did I come across first? I stumbled upon the gin we're going to try second.
Yeah.
I was looking specifically actually for a gin from Edinburgh Distillery when I was in Madison. The place I went to was sold out of it. But I found that volcanic gin, gin volcanic, that's the second gin we're going to try.
That's going to be cool.
I picked that up, saw that it was from Spain, and the next day I was at a different little liquor store, and then I came across this gin that I had not seen before, and I saw this one was also from Spain. And since I'm just a bit of a goof, I'm like, well, I should buy this because now I can do another episode with a couple of Spanish gins. So that's how I ended up with it. I hadn't heard anything about either of these until I was just in Madison in September, hanging out with my niece for the weekend. So
have you been lucky to find more gins in Wisconsin?
Sometimes, yeah, like I have noticed that occasionally they will get gins sometimes before we will. So
really?
The reason I was looking for a specific gin from the Edinburgh Distillery is a year previously they had that Seaside gin, which I really enjoyed this year. They had this new... Oh man, what was it? It was like a strawberry and rhubarb. I just thought it would be an interesting gin that I couldn't get here. I hadn't seen. They said that they had it, and when I went, they were sold out. So I was bummed. So I'm hoping that maybe next year that will show up here. Yeah, so sometimes, and it's just based on like different states. Different states can, import from different places sometimes, and so that's why I just always kind of keep an eye out. If I'm outside of Michigan, then I might be able to see something, even if it's not local, like in this case. So in this case, I ended up picking up these two gins from Spain, a gin from India.
Ooh.
Spicy. And what else did I grab? Maybe another local Wisconsin gin. I'd have to go downstairs and... Oh, no. Yeah. Actually, I'm not sure if it's from... Oh, no. I picked up two others. One is allegedly a super popular gin in Chicago.
Okay.
And then another is this like low alcohol gin that's supposed to taste really good though. And I was like, well, maybe I'll try that at some point.
Like wine almost. Yeah.
So I came home with like 5 gins.
You know what? I would love the Indian gin. Sounds very interesting because I'm curious if like India kind of puts their own spices into it, because I feel like India is always known for some heavy.
I've had 1 or 2 other gins before I started doing the podcast that were from India. This one was outstanding. So really? I got it from Rishi's. I always keep an eye open for it. He does too. It just hasn't like come back. It's so good. So I'm gonna have to see if I can find another one in the next month or 2 that I could try to pair up with that. Otherwise, I'll just come up with another concept for it.
The other country that I think of when I don't think of gin, that'd be kind of fun if you could find a gin, is like German gin.
Oh yeah.
I don't even know if I've
seen
done a bottle from Germany. Have you?
Well, yeah, Monkey 47. You can see that
Monkey
in stores.
47 's
That's
a German
German
gin?
gin. Yep.
Oh, really?
First gin we ever did on the podcast. Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
So, when, for my honeymoon, so Kelsey and I got married May of this year, and we went on our honeymoon. We went to Europe, so we went to Czech Republic, in Austria, and in Czech Republic it was in Prague, and one of our last nights for dinner, Kelsey got a Monkey 47 gin.
Yep.
It was incredible, and we're actually going to buy that, and it's going to be like an anniversary gin that we'll drink every year.
That's awesome. Was
loved it.
Was it the regular Monkey 47 or some special concoction they had over there?
I thought it was
just the regular one.
Regular?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can't remember if it was garnished with anything in particular. I think it was just... I don't think it was garnished at all with anything. I think it just had tonic in it. It was delicious, though.
Yeah, it's a really good gin. That was the gin like Jerry introduced me to that really kind of like changed my attitude about gin.
German gin.
Yep, that's a German gin. And then I did a podcast on another couple that I'd picked up when I was on that river cruise over in Germany. So I picked up a couple local ones there.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
That's cool.
Yeah. So your wedding, that was fun. I actually got to be in it, so I was very flattered. So, and your bachelor party, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little nervous going into it. I'm slightly older than you and your friends.
Yes.
By a couple years.
Just a couple.
Just a couple. The only time though I got nervous really at all was beer darts.
Okay.
I had never played that before. How many times have you played beer darts out of curiosity?
Couple dozen.
Oh, wow.
So it's not often, but beer darts is more of a game where you're just too lazy to stand up and you just want to drink and you want to create a very simple game out of nothing. And so all you do is just throw a little dart at a beer. If the can pops, you drink. So learned that from a country concert because we were too tired to do any games. So we were sitting in chairs and we just started throwing darts at each other.
So you guys just sort of made this up?
I mean, we didn't.
Oh, okay.
I'm quite sure we saw other people do it, so we asked to borrow the darts. So we didn't make it up. We just wanted to join in because it's one of the most simple, easiest games you could play.
Do you feel,
but it's fun,
that before someone plays that, they should have to pass some type of athletic competency exam? Because the only thing I was worried about was, we're playing with steel-tipped darts.
I think it's more of a background check you do on your friend.
And what if they put it into my shin?
See, the shin is such a resilient muscle and bone that, you're kind of bound to get hit once. So it's part of the fun,
Oh, that part
it's
was
not
supposed
a
to be
game.
fun?
I don't think it was a game invented by women. Men don't live longer than women, but we do tend to have more stupid fun times. So that's a classic example of men having fun with whatever's around them, even if it's metal tip darts.
Yeah. It was a fun game.
Yeah.
That was the only thing I was just kind of like, oh, this could maybe go wrong.
No one got hurt, right?
I don't recall anyone getting hurt doing that. In fact, I don't recall anyone getting hurt the whole weekend.
Yeah. Injury-free.
You had a nice group of guys. Nothing got crazy. It was just a nice, 3-day getaway.
Yeah. Oh, I loved it. It
was a good time.
Yeah.
And then your wedding was very nice.
Yeah.
The only thing I sort of felt bad about was if someone was at the wedding and they didn't know you, and then they saw your wedding party line up. I wonder if they would have been like, why is his dad at the end of the line? But I could. I've been mistaken for being your dad in public before.
Yes, you are my work parent. So I think rightfully so. You're technically my second father. So to anyone that questions it,
I could be old enough.
It is accurate.
I could be old enough to be. That is true.
Yeah. Which, hey, I'm accepting of it. So
I'm grudgingly accepting of it. So, but it is what it is. So
yeah,
I like to think you keep me young. You get me involved in those goofy competitions at work through the fitness center.
Yeah, I introduce you to new stupid videos on Instagram. So
yeah, you do.
I try to keep you involved. I think our team does a really good job too of staying mainstream with the funny videos, the memes, right? Oh my goodness.
You guys
that
love
just
them.
Popped in my head. So, when I was in college, which was in 2011, there used to be a social media app called Vine. Did you just see that they're going to bring Vine back?
No, but wasn't Vine 6 to 12 second videos or something like that?
It was 6 second.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the first ever, I feel like, memes that were created out there in terms of like small short videos. Instagram, took it away from it. TikTok pretty much took it away from it. Even when was Snapchat invented? But Snapchat essentially is smaller videos that you can record.
I think Snapchat was out by like 2012, 2013, 14.
Vine was one of the original, which I actually have no idea why the app stopped.
I thought they got bought out or something, but I could be wrong. I thought I could be wrong. Maybe they just faded away because other places just started kind of copying what they were doing.
I'm excited if it actually gets brought back because those were just some really good classic videos.
So you just heard that it's supposed to come back?
Kelsey actually sent me something through Instagram about Vine coming back. And so
okay.
I sent it to my buddy him and I started doing Vine videos. I feel like we were one of the first that caught on it pretty quickly. I mean, we were getting, double-digit likes. I'm talking 30 to 50 likes, which for me, that was a big deal. Not hundreds.
Wait, you guys were putting them out, you're saying?
We're pumping out.
And so people were liking them. And, okay.
Oh, yeah. When you're in college, you got nothing else to do at night, staying up to 2 o'clock thinking of these ideas for a Vine video.
That's so funny.
We pumped out a lot. And we were starting to get popular, and for whatever reason, it got cut pretty soon, and we just stopped, which is so bummer, because people... That's like the era of influencer. Like, that got paid so much money, those people now. Imagine if I would have just stuck with it. Could have been a millionaire.
Yeah, so the funny thing is, when I was in college, we also were staying up late, but we didn't have social media.
Yeah.
So we were either watching, because back then Letterman was still on late, so he was 12:30 to 1:30, or we were playing euchre, or we were playing Sega Genesis hockey. So we were also staying up very late, but we didn't have social media like that, so we did other things.
Wait, so David Letterman, his primetime show was that late?
Okay, first, he never had a primetime show. He always had a late night show.
Late night show.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
but
originally,
I feel like he was so famous, and that was because no.
So real quick.
Yeah.
Originally, for a very short stint, he was like a weatherman on some.
Was he really?
TV station, in Indiana. Goes out to California, I believe, does stand-up comedy.
Okay.
I think ends up getting on Carson, which kind of I mean, back then, if a comedian could get on Carson, that was like rocket fuel for your... That was rocket fuel for your career.
Was that late 70s?
No, this was about... for him, maybe late 70s, early 80s. Okay. I'm not exactly sure of the timing. But then, I believe, for a really short stint, he had an afternoon TV show that wasn't long. But then he ended up getting Late Night, which was a show that they created to follow... I don't know if they created it. Maybe there were other shows that were following. But his show then, Late Night, followed Carson. So people would watch Carson from 11:30 to 12:30, and then Letterman was on to 12:30 to 1:30. And Letterman was just completely different than Carson. I mean, it was...
What was that?
Oh, he used to strap a camera to a monkey and have the monkey run around. He would cover himself in Alka-Seltzer and dive into a giant tub of water.
Oh.
He would put a Velcro thing on and jump off a trampoline and stick to a... I mean, he did stuff that people just didn't think of, and he was amazing. In high school, it was hard for us to stay up and watch it because he was also only on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. There was no Letterman on Friday night.
It was so late because it was in California time? Pacific?
No, it was just late because Carson was on 11:30 to 12:30.
Was it in California, though? Or where was it?
But they had recorded it already.
Okay, so
it wasn't... The shows weren't live. They were recorded.
Okay.
So, but they would run after your local news. Carson would come on. He was on for an hour. Letterman would come on. So, so we started I didn't do it a whole lot, but I had a friend who did it religiously. He would just record on a VCR the show every night, and then he would watch it.
That's awesome.
So then you get to college. He's still on Late Night.
Yeah.
He's killing it. Carson announced he's going to retire. A lot of people just assume, Letterman's the heir apparent. NBC throws a curveball. They give the Tonight Show then to Jay Leno.
Oh, really?
And then Letterman's just kind of what? And then CBS is just hey, we'll give you an 11:30 show. So then Letterman leaves Late Night.
Wow.
Goes to CBS, gets his show that then goes head-to-head with Leno. And then NBC is like, who are we going to replace Letterman with? And then that's when you get the Conan O'Brien show.
I love Conan.
Yeah.
He's so funny. He's also like 6'6". He's
real
gangly
tall. Yeah, he's really tall.
Yeah.
Anyhow, yeah, so that's like the little snip. But like, when we were in college, we were always staying on watching Letterman. Still, for me, like the funniest of those shows. Now, the problem for me is I think I also would have loved Conan because I love his podcast and stuff.
Yeah, I think
it's
hilarious.
When Letterman moved to CBS and then was on 11:30, and then I was starting to be an adult by then because I was like working, I didn't really watch a lot of Conan then because I just wasn't staying up that late, and I had Letterman, and Letterman was on a different channel.
So, speaking of like television in college, I don't think many people that I ever knew in college had any sort of cable. Like, never paid for that package of cable. Mostly because every student, when you go to college, you pretty much can't, at least, maybe I'm saying this, it's hard to exist without a laptop of some sorts for like note taking and to go to class and to do your work. And so every kid had a laptop, and during that time, I think every kid had some sort of like torrent streaming device where you could stream almost any movie, any sports game, any TV show. So that's when like illegal streaming, I feel like every student had some sort of website where you downloaded movies, you watched them, you know, you shared links, you shared free, you know, illegal passwords. And we watched a lot of stuff that way. So I don't think I ever actually watched cable television ever in terms of like news or anything on school. It was strictly all from the laptop.
When you were growing up, did you have a VCR or were you to DVDs by then?
Did.
Okay, I wasn't sure. Like,
yeah, VCR, man. All my Disney films, all my classic Disney VHSs. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, I never took it with to college because everything was DVD at that point. Everything was Blu-ray. Oh, and so when we brought our PlayStations and our Xboxes, we could just watch all the DVDs that way. So.
Oh yeah. So when I was in college, it was definitely VCR, much smaller TVs, and we had Sega Genesis.
We did. Is it what do you call those big TVs that have the built-in speaker underneath, like huge?
Back in the day, I know what you're talking
TVs?
about. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
We had that. It was like a 45-inch, weighed 450 pounds.
You need 6 people to carry it.
So we had one of those, but it was good to us. So yeah, I did bring my Nintendo 64 back to school, which was more of like a more retro video game. And to what you said, at night we played a ton of Super Smash Brothers. I probably have put 5 days of hours into probably Super Smash throughout my college life.
Yeah, we had a Sega Genesis in the. I lived off campus and with a group of guys, junior and senior year. And we had Sega Genesis, and the 3 games we played the most, the number one by far was NHL hockey because
what year? NHL 90.
It was 19. Like 90. It was probably 91, 92.
Really?
Yeah. So they had introduced fighting.
Oh.
And you could also, like, a couple of guys, if they had a wicked slap shot, it would shatter the glass. Like and so it was that. And then Madden was out by then, so we were playing some Madden.
Oh, yeah.
And then there was this other, like, baseball game out of...
Slugfest.
No, I'd have to look it up. But it was, like, out of Japan. But in the game, you could create your own team. And so a couple of us would you could, like, name your own players. You could have different pitchers. Like, some guys were sidearms, some guys... Yeah. And then we would play each other, and they put you into a league. But this was also Sega Genesis, so it was like, what, 16 or 60?
Yeah.
4-bit? Basically, every week. No, 64, not 4. Yeah. But basically, every week then, we were having to, like, recreate the whole thing because the memory couldn't handle it. So
I had a buddy who had a college game day, like 2012 PlayStation game, and he probably put like 40 hours into building his own quarterback character, which I watched probably a good 10 hours of it. It was pretty fun for him to watch, but yeah. When you got a lot of time in college, you spend it doing long things.
It's unbelievable how much time you have in college. When you look back, you're like, I could have written 3 novels.
I could have done a lot of better stuff with my time than playing video games 3 hours a day.
Yeah, but I don't know. There's a part of that, like, hanging out with your friends, just bonding and doing that stuff. Not at all, yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. We had talked about You are going to go first for
Yes.
round one. And again, this is different than you were last on the show. We ended up going through all of gin trivia. So this is kind of like, it's called cocktail trivia. Okay. Oh. This is a new category. We haven't had this before.
I'm not worried.
That's good. Also, this is multiple choice, so you don't have to blurt out an answer. I'll give you options.
Don't even need
but
it.
the category is called Toga Party.
Oh.
So this is questions about alcohol in ancient Rome.
Never went to a toga party in college, by the way. They didn't have
Me neither.
those with me.
Yeah, I know.
Bummer.
Animal House made it look amazing, and
Right?
I never heard of it.
I was looking forward to going to one, and no one even invited me to one.
I don't even know that people
Is it my
tried
fault
to
or is
do
it
it.
theirs?
No,
Yeah.
I think no one ever really
Yeah,
tried to do it.
bunch of losers.
Maybe they did, and I just didn't get invited. But okay, here's a question.
Yes.
What did ancient Romans add to wine in order to sweeten it?
I should know this.
So your options are plums, insects, lead, or arsenic.
I'd be a fool to not say plums. I don't
And
think...
I'm happy to give you the question or answers again.
Let's... Okay. Incense?
No, insects.
Insects. Okay.
Like
actually,
a bug. Like a bug.
No way that insects carry some sort of flavor.
A bee might.
No.
Just kidding. They don't carry honey in there. I'm joking.
Plums. I feel like every time you see or hear about the paleo diet, the Greek diet, they always had like the most beautiful, nuts and fruits and berries. So I'm really gonna go with plums. I'd be an idiot not to say plums. If
Okay.
it's not plums, I'm upset with myself. And the Greeks,
Well, again, this is the Romans.
the Romans, same thing.
So, all right.
Just kidding.
Well, here's the thing. They probably should have done plums, but that's
Did they
not the
do
answer.
Insects?
Nope. Lead.
So they're just drinking poison.
Yeah.
Well, I guess alcohol is poison, so they're drinking a double
But
poison.
they just double it up. So
Well, I'm sure they had flavored lead. So
maybe. But yes, so lead.
by the blood of their enemies.
So this is what I found with this trivia often is think of what is the worst. Although if I would have gone worse, I would have gone arsenic. I would have gone, just straight poison. But I think both of those are poisonous.
Am I
so.
crazy to think that arsenic is like literally in the type of capsule that the Germans took to kill themselves? What was the actual poison that they actually took to kill themselves? On the pill in the back of their mouth? It wasn't arsenic, was it? It was a particular poison type.
I don't think that's
Okay.
arsenic.
When I was thinking of the poison
I know.
that kills you, I thought it was. In my head.
Yeah, I don't know that that's arsenic off the top of my head, but I don't know. I'm not. I don't know a lot about poison. I will admit that.
Well, that's
so.
a shame.
All right, we will go get the second gin ready, and we'll be back. All right, we are back with our second gin. Again, this is another gin out of Spain. It is called Gin Volcanic. And why don't you give your little sipper a try, and we'll see how this one is.
Volcanic gin. Oh. I don't know.
That tastes like peppermint.
I had a peanut in my mouth, so I don't know if that changed the flavor.
Oh, well, at least I was afraid you meant you were going to choke on it. It kind of tastes minty to me.
That is more minty than the other one. That is more
Yes.
pepperminty. That
This one
true.
is for sure. The other one, definitely more floral. This is more minty to me. Definitely more minty. Okay.
Yeah, this could be a breath mint.
Okay.
Okay.
This is Gin Volcanic. It is a London dry gin from Spain. It came out, from what I could tell, in 2018. This gin comes from near the opposite coast. And so the gin we tried in segment 1 was from like northwest Spain. This would be from like northeast Spain. So, and what's unique about it is they use volcanic stones during their distillation process. So hence the name Gin Volcanic. So also, when I was looking into sort of the recipe, they use green walnuts in their recipe, along with botanicals that are used as Radifin russet recipe since 1903. So Radifa is a typical Catalan liqueur made with green walnuts and herbs in that local area. So now, when I was looking at their website, from what I could read through their distillation process, they have, from what I could tell, at least 17 different botanicals that are going into this.
So the last one had 8 or 9, you said?
The last one had 11, I believe. So this one has...
Good memory for me.
This one has more. So, the cocktail I made is based off of the recipe I saw on Ginventory, and they recommended pairing this gin with Mediterranean tonic, and then there's a bit of orange in there.
Oh,
so let's give this a try and
not the green
see
walnuts.
See how this tastes. I did not find any walnuts.
Oh, I can see how the orange plays into this. That's good.
Wait.
Honestly, if you had the orange in it, I think it would be really good because it would get sweeter over time.
Oh, you mean if you just left the...
If you left the orange in
Do you want me to get you your little orange so you could garnish it?
Do you mind if I grab and get?
Here, let me just pause this real quick while you run. Okay, Sean is back. That is literally the first time I've had a guest walk out in the middle of the podcast just to go get a garnish. But
yes,
you'll have to report on how this is. I definitely prefer the cocktail.
Oh, I love the garnish
over the straight gin with this one. So
you're gonna have to try the garnish in about 10 minutes as it continues to seep flavor out of the orange. So, so good.
Great. I'm glad you like it. So this gin is distilled by Beveland in Baguda, Spain. They appear to be a contract distillery that works with different folks. And they're on this gin specifically, they're working in conjunction with the russet family, which is where you get that Ratafia russet recipe. So that family has been making those liqueurs since like 1903.
That's the family name, the Russet?
Russet, okay. Yep, in Spain there. And they are kind of, working in a partnership on this specific gin with Beveland. And then that's how we ended up with today's second gin, which is Gin Volcanic.
So I have a question.
Yes.
So you said at the very beginning that it's a London dry gin made in Spain.
Yes.
London dry is then referring to a specific type of gin that
it's
gets
a
made?
Specific style.
Style, okay.
Yep.
It's kind of crazy how London can coin a style. I'm guessing it's where it originated from.
Gin?
Well, just the London dry.
Oh, yeah. That specific style comes out of England, yes.
What other styles are there?
London dry is most well known.
That's what I always hear, so I always...
You have also... So there's sort of like... I'm trying to think of... You'll sometimes have it referred to as New World style... Or sometimes like American style, but it's where, and from my understanding, Hendrix was the first company to really do this.
Oh.
They started putting an emphasis on other botanicals besides juniper.
Oh.
So they started producing those, but you'll also get...
Is juniper what everyone thinks tastes like evergreen?
That piney,
piney.
Tastes like Christmas, as my sister-in-law Alyssa likes to say. Yeah, yep. That's the juniper in it. So, and again, a gin has to have juniper in it to be considered a gin. So,
really,
yes.
I feel like I knew that. I just didn't remember.
You did. You knew it. And then some other styles would be Old Tom, which tends to be a little bit sweeter. Plymouth gin is technically considered its own style, but only they make it. But there is a certain smoothness to it. You'll also get Navy Strength, which is stronger gins, like by alcohol volume.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because technically back in the day, they would take gin out. The British Navy would take gin with them, and they would make it so the alcohol content had to be high. If it spilled and hit the gunpowder, once it dried, they still needed to be able to light off that gunpowder. So hence, Navy Strength, that's what gives it the little bit of an extra kick.
That's cool.
And I know right now, real quick off the top of my head, I know I'm missing another style or two. But yeah, there's definitely some different styles. So quick question for you.
Yes.
Have you ever been to Spain?
I haven't. I want to badly, mainly for soccer purposes, right? Like,
You mean soccer purposes in terms of you want to go there
To
and
a
watch it?
Spanish league
Or you want to go recruit young Spanish kids to come play on your club team here?
if I could convince a Spanish kid to come to Grand Rapids, Michigan to play for my local small club where I would not sponsor them or anything, it would be fantastic. But I don't know if I can do that. I don't have the money or the experience. However, for those who may not know, some of the world's most renowned club soccer teams ever are based in Spain, two of them being Real Madrid and Barcelona. So I would love to go to either or club stadium, because especially the Real Madrid stadium is supposed to be one of the newest stadiums, and it is supposed to be like one of the prettiest. So I think their stadium's like less than 5 or 7 years new, where they have this amazing technology where they have like 3 different grounds in terms of like different tiers of grass that literally is on these platforms that literally goes underground, and it gets grown and preserved so that when the game is ready, they can switch the different platforms of field to keep the grass perfect, if that makes sense.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy technology. They're one of the few that have ever done it, but it's also because Real Madrid, I think, makes some of the most money ever in the world when it comes to like income from soccer.
Is it Real or Barcelona that has that really young Spanish kid who played in the Euros, and then he'll most likely be in the World Cup this upcoming summer?
His name is Garda, I think, if that's what you're referring to. It has to be Real Madrid. Oh, Lamine Yamal you're talking about?
I think the younger kid.
Lamine Yamal he's like 17 years old to play at the Euros. He was so, in fact, young that he had a curfew due to his age, and that he couldn't play beyond 10 p.m. and he had like a 9 o'clock game. So he could only play the first half in one of his European qualifying matches in the Euros because of his age. So yeah, it's Lamine Yamal, who I think now is about 18, 19 years old. Already has won a Euros, which is one of the larger cups known to Europe, which is pretty incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's him. Sorry.
No, that's okay. But yes, that's who I was thinking of. So I also have never been. I was supposed to go to Spain in 2020, but COVID put the kibosh on that. So
put the kibosh?
Yeah, I didn't get to go.
Never heard of that phrase.
You haven't heard of that phrase?
Put the kibosh?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, yeah.
I like it.
However, I did end up then getting to go to Morocco. So I guess that was kind of a fun adventure with my sisters, and that kind of worked out. But Jim and I had a place lined up. His son Luca, at the time, his club team was going to go and play.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's why we were going there. We had found an Airbnb. It was going to be above a comic book store.
Really?
Yeah, it was.
That's cool.
We had a really cool setup. It was a bummer we didn't get to do it. Maybe someday in the future. So,
actually, now that you bring that up, this past summer I talked to one of the kids on my soccer team. So right now I coach a high school boys club soccer team. So I have them for just the spring season and the winter season because they play fall for their high school. So they're juniors now. One of the kids actually was going to go to a 4-week camp in Spain, and he was going this summer. So next time I see him in the next month, I'll ask him how it went, because
he was going off to do that on his own?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, he paid a pretty penny to go out there.
Yeah.
But, it covers room and board, and he gets to play 2-3 times a day, and I think they get to kind of go around different either clubs or stadiums. It's a full package for the kids. So I'll have to ask him how it was, because it sounded pretty incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then this summer, right, we will have the World Cup jointly hosted by us, Canada, and Mexico.
Yes.
On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, how excited are you for World Cup 2026?
I'll be honest. It probably was a 10 about 4 months ago. Now it's like a 5.
Uh-oh.
Because I don't understand how people are going to get tickets this year. I feel like the timeline of the tickets that were supposed to go out was supposed to be a month or two ago, and everyone that I've known that has done it, you had to like put your name in a raffle through like a Visa sponsorship, like the Visa credit card sponsorship.
Okay.
To maybe get early admission into tickets. Everyone that I knew that signed up and tried to do this didn't get early admission to tickets, and I have no idea even when the tickets go on sale, which I thought they were supposed to like a month ago, because it's already November, and it just does not seem organized at all from my perspective right now in terms of the ticket sales.
Okay.
I feel like it's also going to be
so
astronomically
your
high in price.
enthusiasm has dropped because you think you may not be able to actually like go watch a game in person.
Yeah, like I've lost motivation because I also feel like the price is going to be so ridiculously high in the U.S. that it's just going to honestly,
it'll probably end up in some terrible aftermarket thing. And
yeah, it's going to allow me to go to maybe one game, which is fine. Like going to a World Cup game is kind of a small little dream to tick off, but I kind of had an original plan of spending like 10 days going to 4 different cities, maybe hitting 2 different countries like Canada, US, maybe not Mexico, but it would have been a really amazing trip. It just doesn't feel feasible because I don't even know how to set it up yet because I don't even know when or how to buy tickets.
Yeah, that is a bummer.
It is. So I've kind of put it to the wayside because I'm like, this is going to be too expensive now.
Yeah, the other thing about it, and not that we'll dwell on soccer too much longer, but they have a new format. Like, there's more teams, I feel, that are getting into it. And I don't really quite understand how this new format's going to work.
I think they added a couple more groups to the group stage. I think that's pretty much it.
I feel it's gone from, like, 32 teams who make it to, like, 48 or something weird.
I guess I could look more too. I didn't know that. I mean, I thought they increased it. I don't know if they increased it by that much. That's kind of.
I thought they did, but I don't know exactly how it works.
Oh, I wonder if they increased it because, if anyone didn't know, if the hosting country automatically gets into the World Cup, and if you're hosting it across 3 different countries, that means Mexico, U.S., and Canada get in. So you're kind of taking, let's say, 3 spots away from the qualifying. So they may have had to expand it also due to the amount of already pre-qualified teams, which kind of throws a small wrench.
Maybe. My guess is they figured something out because they wanted to let more countries in, more tickets, and then more games because then they can like get a bigger TV. I mean, that's my...
Yeah, more money.
That would be my guess, but I haven't really looked into it that much. Although I did send you that little article about the Faroe Islands who... What did it say? There's like 55,000 people that live there.
Yeah, an island I've never even heard
of. And they have a chance. I didn't look to see how they did today, but they have a chance to make it, which would be quite an amazing story.
Yeah, it's always a cool story when you have one of those countries make it in.
Okay. Anything else before we go to round 2 of trivia?
Nope.
All right.
Ready.
It is my turn, so go ahead and you can ask the question.
Okay. The question about wines that aren't red.
Wines that aren't red? I'm going to do terrible on this. Okay.
Yeah? You don't like white wine?
I'm not a huge fan of it. Red's what I
Same.
prefer.
All right. The question is, what causes the buttery vanilla flavor present in Chardonnays? A. Chemical additives. B. Actual melted butter. C. The grape variety. Or D. Aging in oak barrels. What causes the buttery vanilla flavor? Chemical additives, melted butter, grape variety, or oak barrels?
So my gut tells me it is either the grape variety or the oak barrels.
Not the chemical additives?
Not chemical additives and not the not adding actual butter.
Well, that's a shame.
Yeah.
Butter would be great.
That would be tasty though. But Chardonnay has that unique flavor.
Crappy flavor? I'm sorry.
So I am going to say it's the variety of the grape.
The grape variety is wrong.
Is
it is the aging in the oak
aging in the
barrels.
barrels? Oh, man.
Which, honestly, I guess I didn't even think to assume that all wine gets aged in barrels. Or you can age white wine. I don't know.
I think
you can pretty much age anything. Probably, yeah, that's a good point.
So
okay. We're both wrong.
That's all right. It happens. So
0 for 2.
Okay. Well, we had talked about today. I would go first for off the beaten path. So
yes. Tell me your interesting topic.
So and I thought I would kind of go back to what I used to do back in the day.
Ooh.
And that would be to find something that I liked that sort of tied into the gins. And so I was like, okay, what's something sort of tied to Spain that I could put for my topic today? So, my question to you is, I don't want to say enjoy. That's the wrong term of phrase. Do you find World War II interesting?
Yes.
Okay. Myself as well.
100%.
I really like history. So
small plug-in before you go.
Yeah.
The World War II Museum in, oh my gosh, it's in, what's the famous city in Louisiana?
Oh, New Orleans?
New Orleans has a World War II museum, which I think is a top 10 museum in the U.S. It is one of the best museums I've ever been into.
I've heard it is a really amazing museum.
It's incredible. So. Yeah. So,
no.
For those who like history, go to New Orleans.
Check it out.
Yep.
Will do. So my submission for this episode's Off the Beaten Path is a graphic novel I had picked up, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and it's called Twists of Fate. It was originally published in Spain in 2013, and it came out in the U.S. in 2019. And it's a story about a fictional soldier, but who was from Spain, who was fighting in the Spanish Civil War prior to World War II, and then ended up fighting with a group of soldiers who were Spanish, but they were basically fighting like in the Free French Army, and they ended up serving in Africa and then through France, and then some of them like ended up like fighting into Germany, and I literally had no idea that they had these fighters from Spain who were participating in World War II, because Spain and Switzerland sort of very famously were neutral during World War II. So, but the way that this graphic novel is set up is that there is a reporter who finds this soldier who's now retired, but who had served with this group, and he goes to interview him, and he kind of like gets his whole backstory, and so the book will kind of flip-flop between this reporter interviewing the retired soldier now at this time, and then going back and then showing his time like coming up and going through. What happened was I think I loaned this book to Jim, because I went upstairs to grab it today, and I was like, uh-oh, where is it? And I think it's probably out in San Francisco right now. So, but it's called Twists of Fate. If you like history in World War II, I highly recommend it.
So it's a historical fiction, right?
Historical fiction, yes.
Yeah.
The main character, this retired soldier who lives in France, he is not an actual soldier who served in this group, but it's based on an actual group of people who did do this, and I literally, before I had read this, had no idea that this was basically a unit that served in World War II. So, and I found it a very interesting and enjoyable read. It's if you enjoy history, and especially if you are interested about World War II, I highly recommend this story. It's really well done. So, and that's my entry for this episode. So
it's very cool. I will say, when we went to Europe, specifically Czech Republic, even in Austria, so in Prague, if anyone has not been to Prague, it is a what is it called? It's a Gothic era style of buildings.
Yeah, like the architecture.
The architecture is absolutely gorgeous. It is, of course they have some modern buildings here and there, but everything kind of feels like you're going back in time a little bit. It's gorgeous, real architecture with different shapes, not just box and square. But we did a lot of historical, museums of Prague, and even we went into Austria. And it just feels, maybe because I'm in the U.S. and everything feels a bit censored, or we don't want to share some of like our losses or like the dirty side of America's history, but anytime I went into Europe with these two countries, it felt very comfortable with talking about all of the crazy stuff that they endured as a nation, both on what they did to either themselves from like city to city, or like just representing and honoring certain monuments of like certain people that did certain things in a piece of history. So one example is Kelsey and I were literally crossing a very, simple bridge that connected one street to another in what's the Austrian city on the left side? That's the city of Salt Castle, Salzburg. Salzburg has some waterways kind of in between the city, and there was a bridge.
Waterways like rivers?
Yeah,
okay.
Rivers. And one of the rivers connected a bridge, and the bridge was made in memory of apparently slaves that built the bridge. And literally on each pillar, it was honoring the slaves that were forced to build the bridge in X era of 1800s, yada, yada, yada. And Kelsey and I were kind of like, it's kind of refreshing that they're recognizing that this city was built, with a little bit of stained blood. And you just don't get to sometimes see that. But I feel like Europe does a pretty good job of being honest with that.
Well, when I went to on that river cruise with my mom and my sisters a couple of years ago, when we were in Cologne, we went on a tour of the city and stuff. Yeah. And Cologne, 90% of that city got destroyed by bombing during World War II. Like, they just got bombed to the ground.
Austria did.
And so it was rebuilt. It looks like a very modern city. Yeah. But these German tour guides are showing us around. And more than one of them would be like, oh, hey, they're describing the architecture, and they're like 90% of the city got destroyed. Hey, it was our fault it started. They were still apologetic. Like, this person is probably 3 generations removed. Yeah. Like, this person had nothing to do with what happened. Yeah. And they were still apologizing for basically starting World War II. I just found that, same type of, I just found that sort of interesting. So
when we traveled from Vienna to Salzburg. Vienna's on like the one side of the country in Austria. Salzburg's kind of on the far other side. It's about a 4-hour drive. We purposely stopped halfway in between.
Were you driving or on a train?
We rented a car actually to go through Austria because Kelsey and I kind of wanted to like drive through the countryside.
Yeah.
Also, Austria is one of the cleanest, greenest places I've ever seen. It was absolutely gorgeous. But we stopped in this small country wine vineyard area called Dürnstein, and there was this beautiful, well-preserved castle that had some of the most prettiest gold in a cathedral. And we were learning the history and how they lost like half of their artifacts twice. One to like a in-home invasion, but second time to the World War II invasion, where German soldiers tried to take everything from there because most of it was made out of some sort of gold or valuable resource. And it's funny because a lot of places that we went through, Germany went through as well and tried to steal all of their fancy artifacts, and it's cool to hear that they retrieved some of it back, which is a really cool story. But yeah, I like that.
All right.
So,
all right. Now you can
yeah,
you
my
can go.
turn. So my topic is actually something that you brought up because I was thinking for a bit. I was like, I forget last time what I brought up. I brought up Robin Hood.
It was Robin Hood. It was the Errol Flynn film. Yeah.
I don't know why I brought that up, but
you said you grew up and you loved it. And it was a great one.
It was a great
I just
movie.
Accidentally guessed it.
Yeah.
Molly still yells at me for accidentally guessing because we were just talking, and she's like, "Why did you?" And I was like, "Sean and I were just talking." I was like, "I didn't know what his topic was. We were just talking." So anyhow,
you probably could guess my topic now because you threw it out as an idea because I didn't know what to talk about. But I do think it's actually kind of a pivotal time to talk about it.
Okay.
Can you guess again to be 2 for 2 about the topic that I'm going to bring about?
Well, no, because last time we ended up talking about that because you had just mentioned Robin Hood, and then I said, "Oh, here's how I know Robin Hood." So I literally have no idea outside of I mentioned to you this week a book.
Okay.
That's all I
said.
So.
There's a lot of different books.
Yeah, so I have no idea what your topic is.
So the genre I want to talk about is anime.
Oh,
so
I mentioned
you
that.
did mention this.
I did, yeah.
And the reason why I want to bring up anime is because I was really curious about anime's rise to like mainstream streaming and media. Because I feel like everyone who's grown up and seen television over the last 30 years has endured, liked, enjoyed some sort of anime, story, movie, show, right? Like, I grew up in 1993, so I grew up with Pokemon, Digimon, the classic, some of these classic anime shows that have been on for a very long time, including Dragon Ball Z, right? That seems to be a fan favorite. But people like yourself as well, you do like Studio Ghibli or Studio Ghibli, which is a different form of anime that I think is also incredible.
Would you consider that anime, though? I consider that more just like...
Cartoon? It's either cartoon or anime.
I don't consider it anime so much. I consider it more like what would you consider Snow White and Bambi?
That's cartoon.
Okay. I would consider Studio Ghibli more cartoon, just he has a very unique style.
So, I would consider it anime only because when I was doing research, it really talked about Studio Ghibli being one of the bigger reasons why anime's done so well over the time, because his style is anime in its form, because I think he's Japanese based.
No,
right?
It's totally Japanese based. So is anime just like Japanese animation, out of curiosity?
It's a really good question. That is one piece of information I did not look up.
So I'm just wondering if because if they're considering that so I guess in my head I don't know, and I can't really articulate why I wouldn't consider that anime outside of unless you're saying anime is animation, then for sure. But Studio Ghibli is their version of our Disney, in my opinion.
So anime, I'm quite sure, is, according to Google really quickly, it is their animation originating in Japan that is characterized by its distinct style. So, yeah, it's animation Japanese style. It's what they call. Okay,
I will say you can see a movie and you're like, oh, this is he has a very unique style that you can just recognize. So, okay, so that makes sense in that regard. That would be considered anime, I understand. Okay, so is it a specific show?
It's not a specific show. It's more to just bring out the awareness, again, that anime is... it's amazing, and it's for everyone. That is my
So you don't have a specific show or movie. You're saying your entry, just
yes.
Is just anime the genre.
Anime the genre is officially mainstream, and you can officially like it without being made fun of, because I feel like growing up, it was one of those, for lack of better terms, taboo, where it wasn't mainstream, and if you liked Dragon Ball Z too much, you kind of got made fun of.
Maybe you were sort of a nerd?
Kind of a nerd, yes. Which, nothing wrong with nerds. Nerds make the world go round. But, I will say, anime has significantly adapted to a much wider audience base over the last 3 years, to the point that it is now, I would say, mainstream, and it is going to continue to be in a lot more movie type that you're going to see in all types of theaters. So the biggest example is one of the larger shows that have been very popular recently, last 3 years, is an anime that turned into a movie called Demon Slayer. And so I have watched this show, Demon Slayer, and there's about 4 or 5 seasons. And what anime shows are now doing, instead of having one more final season, they've actually decided to make a 2.5-hour movie. Which I guess if you think of it, it's kind of like 7-8 episodes combined into one, right? Because every anime show is normally 20-22 minutes.
Oh, okay.
So what these studios are now doing, I think, to bring in more revenue, is they're making it more of this big movie type scene where it's a final episode season. It's just in the shape of 2.5 hours. It is incredible. I did go to the theaters to watch Demon Slayer. It was amazing, and it broke box office records for anime. And just to throw a couple of statistics out there, there is over 600 million people worldwide that now watch anime, which was up from the 150 million in 2020. So it's quadrupled in 5 years. Wow. And Netflix reports that over 50% of its subscribers do watch anime. making it one of the largest drivers of engagement on the platform. Which is why, if anyone hasn't noticed, there are a ton more anime shows that are now on Netflix. I'd say 3 or 4 years ago, they had some of like the classic popular ones and smaller ones. But I did search through it because I was kind of bored and looking the other week. There is so many that I've never heard of, and there's so many that I've known that are now on all of the platforms like Hulu, Netflix, even Disney Plus has their own anime line.
So the show you had mentioned, as your example, Demon Slayer.
Yes.
Was that a show that you streamed on Netflix?
So, I really got into anime about 3 years ago, but I went kind of from like 10 to like 90 in terms of like 0 to 100. I'm not, not fully full throttled, but I might be now. But I started a couple of shows that I actually fell in love with. Demon Slayer was one of them. And there is a streaming platform called Crunchyroll, which is strictly for anime shows.
It's called Crunchyroll?
Yep, it's its own streaming device. So, just like
service, so it would be you would get a subscription to it just like you would to Hulu or Netflix or Disney.
Exactly.
Okay.
So they have a free one out there where it's got ads and stuff. I pay for the
Is that one called
level.
Squishy Roll, or is that a different thing?
No, I think it's just, they're all called Crunchyroll.
Oh, okay.
So I pay for a Crunchyroll subscription to be able to watch pretty much all anime on there without any ads. Which is,
and ballpark, what's that run you?
It's $6.99 a month.
Oh, wow, that's really affordable.
Yeah.
I mean, compared to like other services. So
yeah. So Anime Studio... our anime studios, I'm honestly going to assume, are only going to get more and more popular because of the use of AI. They can generate so much more content and so much more like prettier, vibrant, visual, scenes of anime so much faster and cheaper that I think anime is going to be super, super popular for most people, I'd say, in the next 5 years.
So real quick, before we wrap up, that show that you and I both enjoyed on Netflix like a year or so ago called Blue Eye Samurai, would you consider that anime?
I may almost consider that. If it's Japanese...
Definitely Japanese,
if it's Japanese, I think anime would probably claim it.
Okay.
Yes. So...
That was an incredibly entertaining story.
Yeah. So the cool thing about anime is it's become Japan's largest cultural export, influencing global fashion, music, gaming, and even sports celebrations.
Wait, real quick. So it's bigger than sumo wrestling and Godzilla?
Yes.
Wow, that's impressive.
Well, the reason why, and it's just like anything else, because it's its own animation style, you can't have every genre can go into anime. It's just a Japanese animation source. So if you like the sci-fi, the horror, the action, which I love the action, which can be called shonen, if you ever heard of that before. More of like the ninja type fighting world of like, swords and all that fun stuff.
Yeah. Like feudal Japan?
Feudal Japan. Yeah. So I would say also because the next generation strongly resonates with anime a bit more too, I think it's just going to get bigger and bigger. So my thing about anime is you should get on the bandwagon now because you're missing out on some of the best, prettiest, most motivational, most tear-jerking shows ever. And it is mainstream, so it's okay to watch anime now. I'm telling people that.
All right. Great.
Yes.
Well, that's a good one. So we'll call it Demon Slayer / Crunchyroll.
Yeah. Hey.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I can't thank you enough for coming on. I'm glad that you enjoyed our gins, and we'll see everybody the next time.
Perfect. See everyone. Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us. Feel free to subscribe to us on whichever platform you listen to your podcasts. Also, I want to take a quick minute to thank Darin VanderMolen for all of his help behind the scenes. Without him, this podcast probably wouldn't even exist, and his help is greatly appreciated. Hope you have a great week, and we will look forward to seeing you the next time we go down the botanical trails. This has been a Shits and Giggles production.